Happy October 20th, everyone. Welcome to Midwest Horror Network's October 2020 special, where we talk about all of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. Today we are talking about Treehouse of Horror 20, so let's get right into it. The intro I thought was amusing. Not the best, not the worst, but it was quick enough and got to the point.
It was horror related.
It was. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, like I said, it was amusing.
Yeah.
So basically we start with Frankenstein's monster in the lab. We have all the electric doodads going about. And
That's the word of the day, kids. Doodads.
And so he escapes, but before he leaves, he turns off the power because, electricity ain't free.
Yeah, especially for that place. You're reviving people and shit. Whew, that fucking bill's got to be enormous.
Oh, yeah. And then we have the mummy escaping from a museum, and on his way out, he wakes up the sleeping security guard just to knock him out again.
Because why not?
And so then the monster and the mummy, they've gotten together with Dracula and the Wolfman, and they're walking around Springfield on Halloween night. And then they come across the three bullies, who are dressed up as Black Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3.
Symbiote Spider-Man. I forgot who the middle one was, Joker.
And then I wasn't
Heath
sure
Ledger's
who the
Joker.
other one was.
Master Chief from Halo.
Okay, which that seems weird because Master Chief is the hero of Halo, right?
I mean, Spider-Man's also a hero as well.
Yeah, but he was Symbiote Spider-Man, which is the not good one, the evil one.
I mean, he's never gone fully evil.
Yeah.
He's just kind of gone a little like, I'm just going to beat the ever-loving shit out of you. The only time Spider-Man went fully evil with the symbiote, at least in my recent memory, was Web of Shadows, the game, which was a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
The last really good Spider-Man game. Fight me.
But yeah, so because I thought the joke, because like the bullies are making fun of them for dressing up as like old lame villains. So it just feels weird that they have Master Chief there, who's not a villain.
What year did this come out?
This would have been, 2000 something. This would have been.
Was it 2007?
I think it was 09.
09?
Either 09 or 10.
Well, I mean, Dark Knight was 08, so
Okay.
it would make
Because I was going to say, if this is 2007, that's when Halo 3 released, so that would make sense. I want to say 2009 or 10 is when Reach released.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that I don't know.
October 18th, 2009.
So-
October release. So.
But they always wrote it a year before. And
Yeah.
they always did all this stuff a year before. So it was topical at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only good game on the Xbox 360.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Bastard.
the four Universal monsters, there's like, are we lame-os? No, we'll just get new costumes. And so they go to a costume shop. We have Dracula dressed up as Iron Man, Frankenstein's monster dressed up as SpongeBob, the Mummy as Jack Sparrow, and the Wolfman as Harry Potter. So they've now got new, up-to-date costumes. They head to the Simpsons house where Homer and Marge are throwing a Halloween party that everybody is drunk at. I didn't catch too many of the background costumes, but I did see Lenny and Carl were the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
And they were doing a little dance in the background, which was amusing.
Yes.
So they arrive, and Marge, a little tipsy, is like, are you friends of Homer? And Homer's like, I've never seen these guys in my life. And Dracula holds up a bottle of wine and is like, but we brought booze. Booze! Come in, friends.
And
that
everyone
was-
rolled their eyes.
Really unnecessarily, annoyingly drawn out.
And maybe they are lamos. Maybe
No, they are.
They
They
are.
are. They absolutely are.
Maybe they were right.
Well, as they're at the party, they start hooking up with various Simpsons characters. I think Dracula was with Miss Krabappel. Frankenstein's monster was with Nelson's mom. I forget who the other ones. It was either Patty or Selma. I think it was Selma was with the mummy. And they don't really focus on the Wolfman, but you see him in the background with somebody. I forget who.
And Dracula shotguns a beer the exact way I would shotgun a beer if I was a vampire.
Sure. And I think
It was
that's
smooth,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're hitting on the ugliest women in town.
Pretty much.
They're
Everyone
drunk.
was drunk at the
Yeah.
party.
So
Yeah. So while
even
they're
when
all
I'm drunk, I have standards. Damn it.
so while they're all getting it on, the doorbell rings. Homer opens the door, and lo and behold, all 4 of their wives are there, and they ain't happy.
Who are also way hotter than the women they're hitting on. I just want to point that out.
That's actually incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, why are you cheating?
They're drunk.
So they start beating up their husbands, and Homer intervenes, saying, ladies, it's not cheating if you're wearing a costume. So then they start going
Homer and
after
his-
him,
Homer and his dumbass comments, I swear.
It's
and
true.
they actually knock his head off, and his head flies into the punch bowl, and his head rolls over, and his eyes are now replaced with X's,
Double
which
X.
is the Roman numeral 20, which becomes the title for this episode, Treehouse of Horror 20.
Oh, so that's why they did. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Roman numerals. It's a thing.
What are these numerals of Roman, Mark?
They're exactly what you said. Anyway.
Yeah, like I said, an amusing intro. Not the best, but it did its job. And it did its job pretty well, I thought.
Yeah.
So first up, we have a segment which is a spoof of Alfred Hitchcock movies entitled Dial M for Murder or Press Pound to return to main menu. Zach, tell us about this one.
But before we start, didn't they already use this goddamn title?
So
Like episode 1 or 2?
I think you're thinking of Treehouse of Horror 3, where they had one that was called Dial Z for Zombies.
Okay.
That's pretty close.
I'm like, I swear to God, they already used this. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a completely different story, but they did use the dial letter for
Okay.
something
I'm
titled
just
before.
like, holy shit. All right. So this is a black and white segment based off of Alfred Hitchcock piece, so nobody really cares.
Primarily Strangers on a Train.
Stranger on a Train, a little bit of North by Northwest.
So yeah, Lisa is sitting in class, and her teacher decides to. I guess she's picking somebody for some smarty pants thing. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, and they choose. She chooses this other boy. I believe he's Asian.
Yep.
Yeah, and Lisa gets
have-
super pissed off.
And we have Ralph's reaction.
What does he say? Like, "Yay!" or "Good for you," or something like
Yay
that.
for different faces.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay for different faces. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, I forgot. Lisa just repeats one. What the asterisk?
Asterisk.
Yeah, she
Because
just
I
she
guess he
points
had
at the
a tutor, so she was unhappy that Miss Hoover chose somebody who was tutored rather than studying on their own.
Fair enough. Yeah, so she's just yelling at the kid, asterisk, 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 and the teacher just goes, "Look, Lisa, I did not put much effort into this, all right? Don't take it personal." And she just continues to say asterisk, 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 and she gets sent to detention. Skinner is sitting there. Lisa comes in, she's just like, "Lisa, the fuck? My horoscope said I'd see something interesting today. I just thought it was the horoscope." All right, to the back of the
That
room.
is such a Skinner thing to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, her and Bart start having a conversation. Bart asks Lisa, "Do you want to get revenge on your teacher?" "Yes, I do," but, she doesn't want to work with Bart. And Bart just completely repeats the question of, "If I say crisscross, will you finally accept?" "No." "Will you?"
So what he proposes is that he'll get revenge on Hoover for her if she gets revenge on Krabappel for him. So they're crisscrossing, or crisscross.
Yeah.
Which his whole repeating of crisscross is directly from Strangers on a Train. That's basically what the villain keeps calling it, and that is how he delivers the line as well. Crisscross.
Like that? Seriously?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's a really good movie, but they did a good job at spoofing some of the more ridiculous aspects of it.
One of these days I'm going to try to watch Alfred Hitchcock movies and take them seriously. But anyways, so yeah, Lisa eventually gives in, and she's just like, "All right, screw it. We'll crisscross and prank each of our prospective teachers." So Lisa goes up to, what's the...
Krabappel?
Yeah, goes up to Krabappel's house and essentially ding-dong ditches her. That's it. When she gets back to tell Bart that she did it, Bart brings out Lisa's teacher's head. And then Bart starts talking about the euphemisms of what pranks mean for murder. Ding dong ditch. You ring the doorbell and you ditch your body somewhere in
you kill her, and then throw that ding dong into a ditch.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Which brought up more questions that I didn't want the answers to.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Okay. That reminds me of another thing that happened in this episode, like right before. Okay, so they were coming up with alibis for each other. So Bart's alibi was he goes to a tennis match.
Yep. Which that's another reference to Strangers on a Train. They're one of the characters is a tennis player and all
I'm
that.
going to ask a question about that in a second. All right. Either way, Bart bends over and shows his ass to the entire crowd, and this crowd, they're not looking away, they're not terrified or mortified or going, what the fuck is this kid? No, they're staring directly into Bart's asshole,
They're
following it
hypnotized by
as it turns.
The same way that they would watch a tennis match is the same way that they're following his ass.
I never noticed that aspect of it before.
It's like,
You
what?
didn't
notice.
You didn't notice that?
What
No.
the fuck?
But that does kind of make sense in a gross way.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, you're staring at a fucking hell. All right, yeah. But anyways, that was Bart's alibi.
Yeah,
Now,
there are a lot of felonies in this episode.
there really are. It's kind of absurd. All right, anyways.
Well, I mean, a Halloween special without felonies, is that really a Halloween
Okay,
special?
look, murder is one thing. Pedophilia is a whole other ordeal.
This is very true.
I think this... You know what? I'm not going to even go down there. Just go ahead.
Look,
Let's
all right,
go
keep
move
it
on.
simple. Murder, fun. Pedophilia, awkward, weird, and just downright wrong. Let's leave it at that.
Wrong and gross.
Yes.
How did we end up here?
Where the fuck did I leave off? Kerbopple's head,
yeah.
sure.
Hoover's head.
Hoover's head, yeah. Hoover Dam. What the fuck? Okay. So Bart's just like, you have to kill Kerbopple. She's like, all right, cool. I'll try it again tomorrow, whatever. So she's in class, and she leaves. She's going down the hallway, and she sees Kerbopple in, I guess, an art room or something like that.
Yeah, it was the art room.
Yeah. Kerbopple drops her lighter. Now, she's shredding paper, and she's using one of those old paper shredders, like the thing where you put it on the
Paper
board.
cutter.
Paper cutter?
Yeah.
Yeah, paper cutter. Okay. Shredder, cutter, whatever. But yeah, it's that old thing with the really long blade on the side, and you bring it down, you cut the paper. So she drops her lighter, and for some reason, Kerbopple's dumbass decides, I'm going to put my body, arm, and just a quarter of myself in front of this blade, leaving myself susceptible to be chopped up into like a fucking bagel or whatever. Their words, not mine. And Lisa walks in. Oh, can you make sure I don't get chopped up into pieces? Sure. Bart pops up by the window, chop her up like a fucking bagel. It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
And he's like, crisscross.
God, that crisscross thing. Lisa, of course, doesn't do it because she's a coward. And, yeah, shit happens. So Lisa goes to use the bathroom, and Bart is in there, comes out of the bathroom. Lisa asks, what the hell are you doing in here? Well, I was originally in here trying to figure out how girls pee. Again, fucking weird. Anyways.
And also a felony. We didn't have like a felony counter for this story.
Oh, shit, just a little thing.
Ding, felony. We're gonna have a separate category for felony counters.
Yep. So they're talking, and it's just like, you got to do the murder thing, and then apparently Bart now has dirt on Lisa. Skinner's dead. Bart murdered her and him.
Yeah, so he says if you don't kill Kerbopple, I'll have groundskeeper Willie testify that he saw you kill Miss Hoover, and she asks him, how did you get groundskeeper Willie on your side? And he's like, let's just say I did him a favor, and pretty much Bart killed Skinner.
Yeah, he brings out Skinner's head with a knife just
and then
slammed right in the middle of
to
it.
add to our list of felonies,
I got this. Yeah, groundskeeper Willie comes out of the bathroom stall, says he has a kilt on. Bart points out, you're missing the kilt. Holy crap.
No,
it was
in a
groundskeeper Willie said-
children's bathroom.
No. You're not only in a children's bathroom, you're in a little girl's bathroom without pants.
Which his words were crisscross like the pattern of my kilt. You're not wearing a kilt. Uh-oh.
What the fuck?
Felony number 4.
We're only at number 4?
Are you sure we're not at more or less? I don't know.
Pretty sure we're more.
We got
We got 2 murders.
2 murders. We have one pedophilia count.
Which okay,
Technically
for the tennis match staring at Bart's butt, there was more than one person looking
That's
at him. So
very
That was
each
an
of those people
entire
is a felony.
crowd of people. That's at least 50 plus people, all moving their eyes and heads back and forth as his ass swings from left to right.
Because of that one scene, I'm pretty sure the felony count is astronomical for this one.
Anyway.
I don't remember how this happened, but Lisa gets a hold of a knife and starts chasing Bart around trying to kill him. And this is where it just takes a huge, weird curve that I don't know how it got here, where it got here. It just
She basically starts chasing him through different backdrops of different Hitchcock movies. Like there is Mount Rushmore from North by Northwest. There are some weird ones that I didn't recognize, but it did get very trippy and surreal here.
It was weird and it just felt unnecessary. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, they really dug deep for Hitchcock references for that portion.
It's literally just like, all right, let's just throw all of any Hitchcock reference we can throw in there. Let's just throw it. Okay.
Well, it was cool to see the cameo though of him.
Just get knocked off Mount Rushmore.
Which there is another director that they do something similar with in a later Treehouse of Horror, where they just throw pretty much every reference they can think of from this director into the segment. But I think they did a much better job in that later one than in this one.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of the backdrop stuff that I didn't recognize either, and I'm a pretty big Hitchcock fan.
They were nicely animated. They
100%.
looked cool.
Well, I mean, the animation was good, but I mean, they have a standard now that they got to keep up with, so that's not surprising. But I mean, it's just none of the shit made sense. It's just way left field. It's like, why is this happening? What is the reason for this? Other than just references. But anyways, continuing on, they get to a playground, go on this little spinny thing. Merry-go-round, yeah. Lisa says, "I'm not a murderer," throws a knife in the air, lands at Bart's head. Bart dies. Her and Kerbopple walk off with a smile on their face. The end.
Which the animation when they're on the merry-go-round was also really cool. Yeah, they used the whole spinning background to really good effect, I thought.
Yeah.
This one was okay.
It was very okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't terrible. But it's just like...
If it didn't have the style, all my good things I have to say about this are kind of directly towards the style of it.
I think our commentary made it funnier.
Yeah.
Our commentary made it a lot funnier than what it actually was. That is
with us trying to count the amount of felonies that were done within this episode.
Here's the thing: if you watch this episode, take a shot every time a felony just happens.
You can skip the 50 people that witnessed the same felony.
Okay, for that one, you just down the whole bottle of Jack Daniels and scream Lemmy.
Sure. But this episode was kind of weak. It was a couple of really funny jokes, but most of the time it was the comments that we were making. But the animation
we made
was
it
good.
a lot more entertaining than what it actually was.
Yeah. But I will give them credit.
Is this the second time they did the black and white?
Yes, the King Homer one was the first one. You're the one who said they're never going to do this again.
I stand corrected.
Did you say that?
I think I did.
He did.
Because I forgot about this one, which is probably everything we need to know about how I felt about this one.
It's not a very memorable. Well, unless you take into all the felonies into account, especially by fucking today's standards. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a lot of
surprising. Like this far in, that they chose to do the black and white thing again for like an animation.
This was the 20th one, so they probably wanted to get a little more experimental. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it was very nicely animated. Then, of course, there's the third segment, which got very experimental. I thought those results were much more successful, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
I think I'm noticing a pattern when the segment is more middle of the road, boring. We have more commentary. We tend to fill in when we're equally feeling the same thing. Like if one of us is not as entertained by one segment, but another one is, we're also pretty quiet. But if we're all universally thinking, but we never say it out loud, that the segment isn't as engaging and isn't as exciting, our commentary starts going. It's just something that I noticed about us, as we watch these episodes, and we often make each other laugh more than the episode itself. Don't get me wrong, there were a few really funny moments in this, but for the most part, it was a pretty
I wouldn't say there was really funny moments, but there were a few moments where it's just it's funny.
Yep. And it did have a complete beginning, middle, and end. Very good animation.
Yeah.
Some good Hitchcock references. They did a really good job at sending up Strangers on a Train.
There was definitely no lack of Hitchcock references. That's for damn sure.
The only part that sucked, though, is I would have, and this is kind of where I have to be a little Zach-alike on this one. This is one of those times I'm a little pissed off at the title because I'm a big fan of Dial M for Murder, and they didn't touch shit from Dial M for Murder. So I am a little upset about that.
Are you sure? Because they did cram in a lot. There might be something.
There might have
small
been
in there.
something that I missed, but I am a big fan of Dial M for Murder.
It's still that thing where it's just like, okay, have the title make sense for the story. I'm not going to make a movie that's called The Chicken That Left the Coop and have it about a boom pole just sitting there for 12 and a half hours.
At least this one was Hitchcock related.
At least it was. At least it was that. At least it was that.
Yeah,
and it was a fun. It was a funny title though. I did like.
I actually did not care for the title. I think it's one of those overly long titles.
I thought the pun was funny.
But again, it's a title they already used to it.
Exactly.
It is
like
that's another problem.
It was one of those things. I'm like, I really dig Dial M for Murder. I would have loved it if they would have made.
Hell, if I remember correctly, you said that same thing when they used the original title.
Oh, did I? Okay, probably did. We'll all be listening to it very soon. So, but yeah, that's my one big complaint with it. That I would have liked to have seen more Dial M for Murder shit.
Right. If you guys are listening to this, the creators of the show, have your titles make sense. God damn it.
That's been Zach's consistent mandate for this entire film.
I mean, they're probably not going to take my advice because I'm constantly
they probably
shitting
don't
on
care
them.
about the titles because, like, not just the Treehouse of Horror titles, but just like the regular episode titles.
Yeah,
I have heard on one of the commentaries saying, if it were up to us, we wouldn't even have episode titles. We just make these up just for episode guides.
Oh wow, okay. So I mean that makes sense.
Sure. Okay, for every episode, yeah, I can agree. There's how many plus episodes? So sure, that makes sense.
Nearly 700.
Yeah. So, but for the Treehouse of Horror ones, that's a special thing. And you're clearly taking, like, titles from, like, famous movies and stuff like that. Again, have it make sense. Don't just throw a random title out there that doesn't correlate with the story or the piece in any way, shape, or form. At least this one had a Hitchcock reference attached to it, so it does make sense to a small degree. But that's just a small degree.
I mean, I will agree with him though that at least this one was somewhat related. So it was one of those things I would have dug a little bit more Dial M for Murder references in it. But like you said, Brandon, they threw so much shit except the kitchen sink. How would I know? I probably would have missed a bunch of shit that I didn't even see.
There were things I didn't even recognize.
You know what I'm realizing now? The fucking Raven probably has the most make sense title out of the whole goddamn show.
Did Zach just say something good about the Raven?
Oh, the Raven!
We have it on recording that he did say something good about the Raven.
The most A24...
You liked it.
Shut up, no
you
I didn't.
confirmed it.
Fuck that.
It
Raven
took
sucks.
20 episodes, but we got a good critique of the Raven from Zach.
Raven sucks.
I agree, but that does, we've already established that, sir. But no, what we do agree upon is you said something positive about the fucking Raven. That's exactly what the fuck happened, and I think we should move on to episode segment 2. Because
any last thoughts about this one before we move on?
Felonies are a problem.
Felonies are a problem.
They definitely were entertaining though, the felonies. Because the episode was kind of boring, but I mean the commentary kept us going.
Actually, that's going to be the new title of the episode. It's not Dial M for Murder. It's
Dial F for felony.
Holy shit, Brandon! Fucking perfect. No, we're gonna go on to segment 2.
Yep.
That's it. We're going on to segment 2.
Move on.
We've ended it there.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna go. We're gonna do segment 2.
All right.
Brandon, say the episode title, and David, do your thing.
On to story number 2. Don't have a cow, mankind. David, tell us about this wonderful piece of Simpsons history.
This one, pretty straightforward, quick episode. Really fun one. It's zombie episode today. This is more focused on like the fast-paced zombies versus like the Living Dead, like slow-paced like dumb zombies.
Yeah, in fact, there's a direct 28 Days Later reference a little bit into the episode, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, which is the birth of the fast-paced zombies.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Yeah, 28 Days
Okay,
Later.
well, it's the one that everybody's going to remember.
Yeah, it's the one that made them mainstream, but the earliest case of fast zombies I can think of was the Italian horror movie from 1980, Nightmare City.
Nightmare City. I never watched that.
Yeah, it's that's probably the biggest influence on Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror.
Okay.
But yeah, 28 Days Later is the movie that brought fast zombies into the
did.
mainstream
Yep.
today. So
Good. So we start off with at the news conference or whatever with
it was
Ken
a-
Brockman
Yeah, it was a news story.
News story.
At Krusty Burger. Krusty's
revealing a
revealing
new burger. Yeah,
The burger squared.
the burger squared, which is
Wait a
they
minute.
take
He called it squared?
yeah
Yep.
because
Jesus.
he takes he grinds up a cow and then he feeds it to another cow. Then he grinds that cow up and he makes that into a burger. So
Burger
Dude, that
squared.
is
Burger squared.
I'm gonna say this right now. That is such a an American fucking thing
Yeah,
to do,
I
bro.
mean-
Like that's like it doesn't get much more American.
I don't know if that's even American. That's a whole other level of shit that it's like, but...
I mean this actually happened, right?
I don't think that's
I
actually
think this
happened.
actually did
I'm
happen.
sure that I'm sure they've done it. I mean, like I'm sure they've done that.
I'm gonna go and say a cow's probably eaten another dead cow before in like a plant or something. We've had it, but
I mean, I don't,
well,
I-
that's actually how mad cow disease can spread. You know, at least if
Yeah.
they eat the brain part of it.
Yeah.
Then just, there's actually a fun horror story, literally about this scenario. I thought they were going something based off that. Essentially, a whole thing of mad cow disease spreads and just kills off humanity. I thought that's where they were gonna go with this,
Makes
but
sense.
yeah, instead it's just
The,
28 days
the-
later zombies.
But it's stupid because like Homer's
Yeah.
not even questioning. It's like he's got a calculator. It's like looks like he's doing his taxes. Yeah, checks out.
he's even got like the fucking like hat. He's got like the bookie hat. It's just the fucking clear visor. Oh, like holy shit! I haven't seen that since The Mask.
Oh
When
Jesus!
he pulls it out and he's like, where is my money? He pulls out the calculator. Like, well, if you got a $13,000 and carry the two, we can deduct the tax deductible.
God, I fucking love that movie.
Oh my god! Go ahead.
Anyway,
Please, David.
so I think Ken Brockman's the lucky winner, gets to taste the burger first, and turns into makes him turn into a zombie and bites Krusty's arm.
His check endorsing arm.
Oh,
Yep. And then everyone turns into zombies because they're all biting each other and getting infected. And then we come back to the Simpsons house. They're boarded everything up.
But this is, of course, how many days later?
28 days later. Just funny.
Yep.
When we all collectively in the room went, ah.
Which
Yeah.
this is not the worst spoof of the 28 Days Later subtitle I've ever seen.
to be fair, that's like the only resemblance. Like the only resemblance to 28 Days Later this thing has is the 28 Days Later thing, or the title,
Yeah.
and the fast zombies. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And you could argue that it's more disease-based than anything else. Kind of like how it was, but that's kind of a stretch. But the worst I've seen, or the most eye-rolling use of like the 28 Days Later subtitle was in House of the Dead 2. Something happens at the beginning,
How dare you bring
and
up
then
that movie,
it
Brendan?
cuts to
How
later
dare
on.
you?
But instead of saying 28 days later, it says 29 days later. And then my brother and I turned off the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, yeah.
And never turned it back on again. How dare you bring up House of Dead Part 2 in our presence, sir?
I
To
turned
be
off
fair,
that channel
Uwe
10
Boll
years
did not
ago.
make that one.
No, he didn't?
No.
Who was that?
I don't know.
Some random dude who got a paycheck.
But we watched it on Sci-Fi Channel.
That
Partially.
is a fantastic episode of Good Bad Flicks, by the way. It's great.
So yeah, they're boarded up all their house. Zombies are running rapid through the neighborhood. One point, I think Lenny and Carl and Barney had Mo, and they were
Yeah.
like taking them to like a secure place to eat them. And Mo was like, "My suggestion is to give me a bath before you eat me." And the zombie's like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then I think Grandpa Simpson's just trying to get into the
I'm your father.
I don't understand this muncher talk. And then he closes the curtain and he gets eaten by the
Yeah.
munchers.
I can't risk it.
Poor guy. And then they get hungry because they're in there for,
Well, Bart's hungry.
Bart's hungry. He's like, the only thing here to eat is this, and it's a bowl of fruit.
Yep, very fresh fruit and vegetables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like really fresh.
Like glistening fruit and vegetables. Like I was like, God damn, that looks good right
Yeah.
now.
It really did.
I'd be like, I need to put more fresh fruit in the house.
For some reason, he takes his telescope and he's like searching for food outside, and he sees Krusty Burger sitting outside. I think was he looking in the Krusty Burger?
Yeah, it was like a very damaged building of Krusty Burger, and he sees through the window there's an untouched burger just still sitting on a table.
I want to point out that he looked at the Krusty Burger squared building first, it had nothing, but then he looks at an original one. So originally I'm like, I thought that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Continue.
I also want to point out that it's 28 days later, which means that Krusty Burger has been sitting there for almost 28 days.
It's a fast food burger.
And it still probably looked fresh. It is
uh,
fast food burger, like Brandon
Picture perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was probably there for a photo shoot.
said. Probably.
we know it wasn't.
But yeah, he gets the burger. He's eating it. Family comes in. They see him eating the burger. They get worried because it's obviously tainted, but he doesn't turn. But Homer gets pissed and starts beating the crap out of Bart for some reason.
With probably one of the best sight gags in this entire episode. When he's gonna beat him with a book, and Lisa's like, "Dad, don't beat him with the book."
It's the last book in existence.
Arsenio.
The Arsenio by
Go ahead.
It's like, oh god, you can get rid of that. Sorry, Arsenio.
But yeah. And then Lisa realizes Bart's not tainted. He could be the beginnings of like a vaccine or something. So
The
Homer's
savior.
like, we need to keep him safe as he's strangling him.
Yep. He calls Dr. Hibbert and he uses Bart's head to dial a number, which is kind of fucked up.
A little bit.
It is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, violence is entertainment.
It was funny. But yeah, and then Dr. Hibbert tells Homer to take him to a safe place,
Safe zone.
or the safe zone. So they decide to do that. As they leave the house, though, they're like, all right, we got to be quiet. As soon as Homer leaves, he's like, this is nice fresh air. Or what did he say?
Man, that breeze
Man,
feels
that
good.
breeze feels good. And all the zombies pop out. And
Yep, just instantly.
instantly.
They're hiding everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, they knock the door down, chase them out of the house. Or he's like, no, let's go to the panic room. We don't have the panic room. Let's go to the panic room store. And then run out of the house.
And then Rainier Wolfcastle barges in, who is basically their version of Schwarzenegger. And he's like, come with me if you want to live. And then the Munchers zombies just take him down immediately. And Homer says, another politician who can't keep his promises.
Yeah.
But just to backtrack a little bit, I do like how when they were talking to Hibbert on the phone, Hibbert was just fighting zombies at the same time.
Yeah.
And then he was like, tell my wife I love her. And Homer says, you mean tell her I love her or I meaning you? Hibbert gets torn apart. I'll just give her a high five.
All right, so they're headed to the safe zone.
Which Apu comes to get them.
Apu runs through the zombies with this tricked out armored like jeep.
Yep.
He takes them out.
And I like his explanation of how he's survived.
Yeah, because they didn't eat the burger.
Yeah, because he's vegetarian.
He's vegetarian.
And as a convenience store owner, he's armed to the teeth.
Just look up. He's got guns strapped to the ceiling of the monster truck. I think a chainsaw.
Which brings me to back to the beginning, where they're watching the news with the reveal of the new burger, and Lisa was disgusted, and then Marge was like, "Just because you're a vegetarian, these cows had different choices, made different choices."
Pretty messed up.
Yeah, they chose not to be vegetarians. Lisa, shut up.
Yeah, they instead chose to be cannibals. Or were forced to be
were
cannibals. I have no
forced.
idea.
They
They're
were forced. Krusty does not treat anything humanely.
So Apu's taking them to the safe zone. They're fighting off zombies on the way. They, for some reason, see a ramp and they jump over a pile of cars and get stuck. And Apu's like, I'll go out and I'm going to push the car for you guys.
Whatever you do, keep Bart alive.
Keep Bart alive. And he pushes the Jeep down and they drive off. And Apu's like,
And Marge is like, it was so brave of Apu to sacrifice himself for us.
and Apu is like, what are you doing? You're supposed to stop and wait for me.
And then the zombies get him. That part always made me laugh.
Yeah. But yeah, they make it to, I guess, the car flips? What happens to the car?
It runs out of gas.
Runs out of gas. They get out. They have to walk to the safe zone. They get through the woods. I think Homer separates from them for a second.
He sees his dead Mr.
Dead
Burns.
Mr. Burns. He's
Or
like
dead in quotation marks.
Yeah, he's like, who's slacking off now, and then pulls Mr. Burns' nose out. Like, got your nose, and Mr. Burns bites his freaking hand. He turns into one of the munchers. Meets Margin, Lisa, and them. Like, Dad, did you eat one of those burgers, or are you turning into one of those
into a muncher?
Muncher? He's like, no.
Brains.
And Bart's got the shotgun. He's like, all right, where do you want it? Mouth or your head or eyes?
Mouth or
eyes.
Eyes it is.
He's like, my mouth, no eyes it is. And then Marge's like, no, once we get you to the safe zone, we'll have a cure. They make it there. It's like, here's your savior. And everyone's like just getting down on their knees and just worshiping Bart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we must cut up the savior and eat him.
It was they were like, in order to
his-
cure we have to eat your flesh, and Marge was like, what kind of people eat the flesh and blood of their own
Body
savior?
and blood.
And then Reverend Lovejoy's just in the background like,
See, what had happened was
Look, he's the one who told us to do it, all right?
So how the episode ends is what the cure is. Bart has to take a bath in their food for them not to turn into one of the munchers. So
which is okay.
he's in this big like jacuzzi of like soup.
yeah.
And the grossest part is like when Lisa gets like her portion. He's like, here you go. And he puts the bowl over towards like his crotch and is all right, here you go, Lisa.
There's another tick for the felony counter.
Yeah.
And by the way, when it backs out, it shows that Homer still hasn't
Yeah,
been cured. He's in a fucking cage still.
I don't think he wants to eat his son's ball juice or I don't know, man. There's so much shit
kinda
with
gross.
Bart in this.
If that choice was left up to me, I'd just become a muncher.
Yeah.
Drink balls juice.
And mind you, like you have to like, he has to be soaked in their food every day.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
disgusting.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's not like one time, here you go, you're cured. It's like to prevent that, you literally he has to take a bath in your food every
it's like-
freaking lunch, dinner, breakfast. If you eat, yeah.
He's waist deep in that. Every disgusting part of your body is in that soup. And this whole civilization is drinking/eating from it. There's some poo flickles in there. I know it.
There's definitely some swamp ass in there.
Oh yeah.
Let's not think
Let's
about
not
it.
dwell on this. So other than that,
Other than swamp ass soup.
what did we think of this one?
I don't know. How many felonies are we up to now?
Many.
I thought
True.
this was far more enjoyable than the first episode.
I agree.
I think they're kind of
Oh,
on
yeah.
the same
Fuck
level for me. They're just eh.
I thought there was a lot more funny stuff going on in this episode. A lot more funny gags. Grandpa Simpson always does it for me. Like he always, like every time he's doing something, like I almost always laugh. Ever since the welfare joke, he's kind of always
That's
gotten
the
me.
thing. That's the only joke for me that's really done it for him. Is that welfare joke? It was fucking hilarious, but that's all he's really done. At least that I can remember.
I know there were others, but since we're on the spot right here, I'm not thinking of them. But I do know there were others.
There are others.
Oh yeah, they're definitely.
Oh yeah,
others.
there was the Nightmare on Elm Street spoof where Lisa's like, the next time we go to sleep, we could die. Welcome to my world.
Oh, yeah,
Sleep.
yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was
I
one
hated
that
that
really got
episode.
Mark. But I know there were others besides that.
Yeah, there was a lot of funny bits in this. A lot of different funny things. So the crazy redneck, like, you think there's a safe zone, do you? Oh. Well, actually, it's right over there.
Oh yeah.
It was just unnecessary.
And then the whole thing with the poo was great.
Yeah.
There was a lot of funny, a lot of funny bits.
The thing with Apu was probably the best bit of this section. Your story.
You're supposed to come back.
Supposed to wait for me.
I don't know. Squared Burger got me, and Homer's just trying to figure it out. It checks out. Dude.
the fucking the bookie accountant hats.
It's like,
the one that got
holy
me.
shit. When was the last time you saw somebody wear one of those fucking things?
The mask.
God.
The
I want to get myself one of those hats now.
I enjoyed this one too. It does kind of fall a little flat at the end. But I thought they did a pretty good job at like the fast zombie tropes and just some general post-apocalyptic tropes as well. And yeah, there were some good laughs. It was fun.
The Arsenio one was pretty fucking fun. It was very very timely, but like kids today would have no idea who the fuck Arsenio is.
Oh
No.
They no clue. But like
When was the last time he was even relevant?
a couple years ago when he was still trying to revive the show, but no one would give him any music licenses, so
Wait a
he
minute,
played
he was-
generic
When the
music.
fuck did he try reviving the show?
Like maybe I don't know 5 years ago.
He was also on The Apprentice too.
Was he?
I think so.
Yeah,
Huh.
that sucks. So for everybody who doesn't know, hold on. For anybody who doesn't know who Arsenio Hall is, Arsenio Hall was a late night talk show host that started a different kind of version of like the Jay Leno's and the David Letterman's. Kind of had, he's a black guy. He had more of an urban feel to it. He would put on guests that like normally wouldn't be on there. He had a lot of rap groups on. He had a lot of technicians. He had politicians on there. Like he did. Honestly, he was doing shit that like podcasters do now, like what Joe Rogan does, with having like off the wall guests that you would never think to have, like scientists and like paleontologists and things like that. Like Arsenio would do that. Like he would have on scientists and like unusual guests that you would never see on a regular thing. And he was doing this shit on cable, like on on a network show. During that time when when David Letterman and Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien were the biggest things, he was kind of doing the offbeat stuff that nobody else would do, which today would be perfect in a modern podcast. Shocking that he doesn't have his own and isn't more involved in that world because he's built for that. But he did things.
Actually, wasn't that around the time Joe Rogan got started? I hear he got started around like 2010, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but Arsenio was way before that.
I mean, if he did get that whole thing started, then maybe who knows? Maybe he would be where Joe Rogan is today.
That may be very, very true. But yeah, he was always having different people on. He is. A lot of people think that he was a huge proponent of how Bill Clinton got elected because Bill Clinton played the saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show, and everyone saw Bill Clinton in a whole new way. It wasn't about politics. It's about he's relatable, he's entertaining. Like he was the that was a huge deal to have him on the show. And then he would have like poets and other things. Like it was very, very different for for the time. It's commonplace now on all the podcasts, but he was doing something that was very different. And now he's pretty much relegated to documentaries about the 90s. Relegated to the past, unfortunately. But tis what it is.
Mark, tell us about our third and final segment for the episode. There's no business like Mo business.
Gee, I wonder why Mark got this one.
Because I had to take it because it's a musical theater version of The Simpsons. So essentially, they're doing a parody of several different musicals, but the main one is Sweeney Todd. For anybody who hasn't seen the movie version of Sweeney Todd or the play version of Sweeney Todd, it is about a barber that actually the original title of Sweeney Todd is Sweeney Todd the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It was actually loosely based on a story where a real life barber was a murderer and cannibalist who would work with his the shop that was below, which was a pie shop, and would actually bake people into fucking pies.
That sounds strangely delicious.
It is a fantastic fucking musical. Fantastic.
It's one of my favorites.
Not a fan of the movie with Johnny Depp. I mean, Johnny Depp's cool, but like the musical itself is truly fantastic. It's great music, great performances, and this is very much a parody along with several other musicals. It's them, actually doing the musical, but they show the audience, they show all the behind the scenes stuff. It's very meta in that regard, very much. I think I've brought this up before. It's like Noises Off, which is a show about a show. It's about what's going on behind the scenes. So it has a little bit of that. It's kind of a cool thing. In the actual production, they're inside Moe's bar,
which the curtain is painted to look
Yes.
to look like the exterior of Moe's Tavern. and you do see stagehands, and it's like a 2-level set and everything, one with the top floor and one with the basement.
Which, by the way, is a direct reference to Sweeney Todd, because that is actually something that is in Sweeney Todd, because it does 2 levels. The bakery was on the first floor, and then they had a
barbershop, which is on the top floor.
Yes, that is correct.
Sounds like an expensive play to do.
It can be a very expensive set. There's actually there's actually a slide where the bodies will go down to the basement, where the pies are baked, and there's actually a specialty chair that he literally goes like this, and then it goes from an upright chair to a flat chair, and they go right down the chute. But yeah, it's a direct reference to that. So Homer and Marge are in the bar making out. Mo is singing a song about how lonely he is, which he spends most of the series talking about how lonely he is. And he sings to a portrait of his mother, talking about how he wasn't hugged as a child. The portrait immediately spits in his face, which even Zach smiled at. So he's singing how lonely he is, and da-da-da-da. And then he figures out that there is an issue with the lines to pour beer out of the tapper. The lines actually leading to the tap. So he says, "Oh, there must be another mouse."
Or the pipes, I guess we should call them.
They're called lines.
So they're called lines?
They're called lines. Yeah,
well, I don't drink, so I wouldn't know this.
I worked.
And Mark's an alcoholic.
I'm not an alcoholic. I just worked in a bar. My father owned one, so I know the difference. So he says to get rid of a mouse, he gets a cobra, and then puts it into the actual line, try to get rid of the mouse, and that of course does not work. So he says, I gotta go run down real quick and go check on what's going on down there.
Yep. Which he goes down there via a trap door right behind the bar, which Homer does not see.
And then drops directly down into the floor, and then lands on a bunch of pipes.
All because he saw an
Supervised tap.
There you go. Unsupervised tap.
I mean, well, that's truly an alcoholic. Yeah. When they didn't see an unsupervised tap. So Homer falls directly down there, gets on some rusted pipes, and Mo says, "Homer, just relax," and he relaxes too much, goes deeper into the pipes.
Don't relax.
They don't relax. Don't relax. So Homer begins to bleed inside of the beer. And then, of course, the little bit of blood gets into the beer, and then everybody loves it. Everybody loves the taste of the beer, which is exactly what the fuck happens in Sweeney Todd. They used one body to make some meat pies, and then it became the most popular meat pies in London. Same thing here. So they begin to pour, and then through the course of it, he says, "Well, I'm secretly in love with Marge." So I'm going to write a letter that says Homer left, or Homer left me. And then a week goes by, and then he tells Marge that he left, and then a week goes by. Then he gets a letter about how Homer has actually never loved her. Makes the letter. And he's like, it's in my handwriting, my stationery, and it sounds exactly like my inflection, but it's definitely from Homer. I've never loved Jews, because I was always been gay.
Bart, Linda, and the other one should still have a father. I suggest Mo.
And then Marge's like, he does sound like Homer. And then they go into a whole musical number about Homer is gay, and that is where Zach lost it.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, well, you can't really talk about musical theater without talking about somebody being gay. And then Homer sings a whole song about being gay. And about making love with many different types of men.
From other countries.
Including
the Eiffel Tower.
So the charade keeps going. The funny thing about this episode, though, is while this is all going on, there's a bunch of other audience-oriented shit. Kane and Kodos make their one-time appearance, which I will say, I'm going to add this into the category of being shoehorned in, but it isn't one of the ones that's so fucking blatant it's annoying. Like, at least this one made sense. Yeah, it is a little shoehorned, but it does make sense.
It wasn't like Island of Dr. Hibbert, where they literally went through the whole episode and then they tacked on King and Kodos at the very end.
That one was just blatant.
This one was definitely written with them in mind. It just wasn't the strongest material.
I don't know. I don't think I would say it was written with them in mind. It's just like, oh yeah, we could throw them in here, so fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm in between you and Brandon on this. I think it's definitely, to me, it's definitely a shoehorn, but it's not as blatant as it has been in other episodes.
Well, I mean, at this point, it's gonna be a shoehorn. Like they want them.
Yeah,
in every
I guess there's
episode.
that. I guess
so
there's
it
that.
does feel like that, but I love it better when they write them into the actual story than
Agreed.
then just here you go.
Yeah.
And-
Or
and-
there's a story that actually revolves around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer those more than the shoehorns. But I will say though that this is definitely a better one of that.
That's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
It's not the best, but it's by far not the worst.
Yeah, no, I
no.
definitely get that. But there's a bunch of other things. There's a lady that the fucking answers her fucking cell phone. Oh man, I don't like that at all.
And
Mark
every
took that personally.
I was gonna say,
That's
Your
like, and not only that, she fucking answered and she had a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's one that like, that's some like, I'm like, bitch, you may get some like Axl Rose shit where it jumps off the fucking stage and tackles you.
Yeah.
Like you're like you want to see a diva, you see a fucking diva, man. What we pick up your cell phone.
okay,
and
wait. Has
like,
anybody, in any of the plays you've done, has anybody ever done that where they've just been like, bitch, and they've just jumped off the stage and attack a motherfucker with a cell phone?
I've had people their cell phones ring. I have never had anybody had the balls to fucking answer. Like,
Oh, okay. At the very least.
Although I did, when I played the Genie in Aladdin, I did have a dude fall asleep in the front fucking row. And I was the damn genie though, so I was allowed to say whatever the fuck I wanted, and I totally called him out on it. I was like, I'm sorry, are we boring you?
Nah,
Yes, good morning, sunshine. There's a play going on up here. Did you want me to get you a pillow? Literally did this. My fucking director was furious, but I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck.
Man. No, that's something. If you're going to be in the front row, you need to pay attention and be incognito as possible. If you're dealing with, especially with fucking comedians.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
No, and again though, this is children's theater, but again though, like I was playing the fucking genie. Like the genie has no rules, 0 rules. And I think the director was extra pissed because it was like a special performance that we did over in Indiana where they get invited to the theater, like it's a special professional theater, theater in the round actual thing is a very more professional setting, and they get asked to come back to this, and like he was very concerned that we're gonna not get asked back because I couldn't fucking help myself.
Look, if the rest of the audience isn't dying of laughter by that point, then fuck them.
Oh no, I didn't care. I didn't even remember if they laughed. All I remember is that guy waking up and wondering what the fuck happened. He was like, where am I again?
Holy shit, wait, what? Okay.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I would fucking murder people if they answer their phone. And that's beyond disrespectful.
Oh yeah.
That's our equivalent to somebody on the crew during a shot answering their phone. Like yeah, that kind of shit. But anyway, so anyway, they go through the performance. Mo at some point realizes that he's running out of juice from Homer, so he goes down there to squeeze him a little bit more, and then he goes down there and figures out that he's not there.
Yeah, because Homer was just finished his own musical number, so he was still getting the makeup people put the pipes prosthetic on him and everything. That was my favorite part of this segment.
That is a great fucking part. And Mo's like, well, I guess I got a riff. By the way, it happens all the time. People miss their cues. People aren't on stage when they're not. We had there was the end of Wizard of Oz when I was in there. They literally flipped on the lights, and it's at the very end when Dorothy wakes up from the dream, and she's not in the fucking bed. The lights go on. She's not in the bed. And my boy Cody Lesser, without missing a beat, literally says, "Oh, she must be in the bathroom." Lights go off, and then the next thing she lights them back on. So that shit happens all the time. He didn't miss a beat. He didn't miss a beat. Completely cold, like stone face. Just perfect response.
I could see the background now. It's just everybody behind the scenes. It's just like dude, he says that everybody just starts dying afterwards. Just
dude,
like
it
motherfucker.
was really hard for me not to sit back there and laugh. I think we grabbed like the stage hands and I all grabbed each other to stop each other from laughing. So yeah, that shit happens like the changes because she had to change from like a black and white a colored costume to a black and white costume because she's back in the real world now. And there was a little bit of a snafu.
Gotcha.
Literally the same thing that happens with Homer. He's like literally you can see the stage hands trying to put this little apparatus back on him that has all the fucking pipes sticking out. And then finally gets back, and then then immediately like completely made up. Like all of his skin is all deteriorated now. Finally gonna introduce him. Mo goes back up to propose to Marge. And they do a whole number about how you can do worse, which was hilarious. And then literally the two guys, and then it
was Lenny, Carl, and Barney.
And Barney
were in
were all
the audience, and it was we're proof you could do worse.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was great. And then Homer finally emerges from the top, and he's like, "Yeah, you can do." Then he does the last note. I forgot what it was, but he reveals that he's there.
Which he sells the pipes through him and the whole
beer,
beer.
the giant keg.
Yeah.
Behind him, he says, "Marge, can you still love me if
I'm half beer.
If half beer?" And she says, "Of course."
I always have.
which was a very great subtle joke. And then they end the whole thing with a nice little number about thanking them for doing the the Halloween special, which by the way, this is the second time I've seen this done with an ending musical number to end this. This one is 1,000 times better than the last fucking one.
Because it was actually part of the story.
Correct.
It wasn't
100%.
out of nowhere. It was there was context for it. It felt right for it to end with that little musical number because the whole segment was
a musical
theater
number.
send up.
And then they end it with literally the whole like ending ad, the studio ad that goes, wait, shh, and then they show the ad. Literally, Kane and Kodos are in the audience and they do the shh.
Yep, because one of them was asleep. All the audience was
correct.
Cleared out, but Kane and Kodos were still there, and one of them was sleeping.
Which was great. A lot of. For some reason I always remember that dun 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 and then the ending
The Gracie Films
the
logo.
Gracie Films logo but yeah this was a fun segment, and actually the more I talk about it the more I enjoyed it because the more memories I'm remembering about all the bullshit that's happened and all the backstage stuff that exists.
What a surprise, Mr. Theater Boy.
Dude, it comes with the territory, man. There's a lot of crazy shit that's happened. I've seen a lot of snafus, a lot of crazy shit. I mean, lights go on when lights are supposed to go off, and then a gunshot goes off. You've seen that. Seen that theater main not close when it's supposed to close. That whole thing with Wizard of Oz. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah, you've also been in way more plays than I have.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I thought this was a very creative segment.
Agreed.
Like overall, this is a more experimental Treehouse of Horror than more recent ones because we had the black and white Hitchcockian first segment, and then we had the third segment, which was an all-out animated musical theater thing going on, and they did a really good job with that one.
Yeah, there was some really, really good animation for all three segments.
That I will say though, all three segments did have really good animation.
But again, we're at the point where it's just like they've got the animating budget for frickin' miles or whatever at this point.
Yeah,
so.
but there are other recent ones where it's just like they just do nothing creative with the animation for the Treehouse of Horrors. Like Treehouse 17, they really did nothing with that one except for the sepia tone during the War of the Worlds one. But this one, they did something a little unique for each of them. And really, I would say animation-wise, the second one is probably the weakest. But even that had some really good detailed stuff, like when Hans Moleman got run over and like his brain gets popped out of his head.
That was pretty cool.
So there is some nice detailed stuff in that. And yeah, so overall, this is a very well animated episode of The Simpsons, which when they went like to the high def era that we're in right now, I do, as opposed to like the hand drawn era, I do feel they lost some of that creativity, but this episode kind of brought some of that creativity back. Any last thoughts about segment 3 before we head into our wrap-up?
Not that I can think of.
No.
I enjoyed this one a lot because I am a big fan of theater, especially like Sweeney Todd is one of my favorite. Definitely like musicals. I love it. Like I had started loving it by like watching Singing in the Rain. It was one of my favorite musicals, so I definitely enjoyed. Yeah, I got into it.
Never would picture you for a Singing in the Rain type of guy.
Singing in the Rain is a great
It's
movie.
a great movie.
It is a
It's
great
the
movie.
reason why I like musicals. It's
The
That is
I
very
never loved it until I
interesting.
watched that movie.
two of my literally two of my favorite, like my 3 favorite musicals of all time are Jekyll and Hyde, Sweeney Todd, and Guys and Dolls. And
Okay,
Grease.
that's you. I'm talking about him. Look
But
at him. And
I
look,
know-
look at him. Do you think?
But-
I
but-
love Singing in the Rain. Oh my God.
but think about how
Well, Singing in the
ridiculously.
Rain isn't just a great musical, it's also one of the best movies about making movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is. The
It's definitely a good one.
but yeah, I mean, like you can. That's the thing with musical theater, man. You can be so broad, like like you can have something like Singing in the Rain, and Guys and Dolls, but you can have something like Sweeney Todd
which is
Or Evil
awesome.
Dead.
or the Evil Dead music. I mean, like
So far, the best musical I've seen is Evil Dead.
you gotta actually see if when Sweeney Todd actually comes to town and everything else. Like we gotta go see it because it's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
If it ever comes to town, I'll definitely go see
Yeah.
it. There's another one that I'd like to go see a different because I saw the movie, loved the movie, but I hated this. It was Lane Tech, Arseny and Olace or something like that.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
fun. That's a funny.
Love the
fucking-
movie. It's fucking hilarious. But the performance they did, I was boring as shit. I would like to see another person's rendition of it, but that one's definitely a good one.
That's a great thing with theater, man. You can see it. You can see a play 20 different, 20 different performances of the same play, and you'll never get the same one
Oh
twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Bug because Brandon took me to see the film version of it. I know there was a play, I didn't know there was, but I want to kind of check that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to see the musical of Carrie as well.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Oh, that would be interesting.
One musical I would actually really like to see, just to see a heavy metal musical of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be cool.
Somebody get on that and bring it to Chicago.
Please somebody get on that. We're too busy. I didn't want to not talk about this real quick with the segment. I did appreciate the Phantom of the Opera joke
yeah.
that was quickly added in there.
You mean shoehorned in there?
It
Another
It
one.
was a little shoehorned.
It
It
was a
Yeah.
little shoehorned, but I did
was
enjoy it.
appreciated but shoehorned.
I did enjoy it.
Of course you enjoyed it. I'm just like, what's the purpose?
I enjoyed it.
All right. So let's head into our wrap-up here. Funniest moment. And I think we actually have a few to choose from
a lot.
for this one.
Well, I mean, should we add a worst felony moment for this one?
Maybe.
No, because we all know what it is.
Yeah.
Too obvious.
Fuck, funniest moment.
My
Shit.
funniest moment is just the Homer checking out the squared burger. That's mine.
Mine.
I'd actually
Apu.
agree with David just because of how random it is.
And Marge
You guys
leaving Apu
really like
behind.
that visor that he was wearing.
Look, the visor is what makes it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's a nice little costume change.
Mine was them leaving Apu behind,
Yeah.
and Apu just being like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to stop at the bottom and wait for me."
Oh, that was fucking funny. There's a couple of really good ones. I'm having trouble.
I think that my problem with the Apu thing was that's very predictable that was going to happen.
But it still worked for me.
It was
worked.
just like, well, I already know where this is going.
Yeah, like for me, like back when this episode first premiered, I saw it coming, but it still made me laugh.
There you go. The convenience store strapped to the nth degree was pretty fucking.
Well, no,
funny.
that was good, but I'm just like the whole like, oh yeah, he's absolutely gonna get left behind, even though
Yeah.
they could have easily picked him up.
I'm gonna go with that for my funniest segment because that did make me laugh quite a bit. And then also I will tie that with Grandpa Simpson. But I'm your father. I can't save you.
All right. Creepiest, scariest, grossest, or most violent moment.
I know where mine's gonna be, and
right.
I imagine that most people are gonna agree with me.
Let's hear it.
Bart Soup.
Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely grossest moment.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna pick two here. I'm gonna go with that one because that one is just gross, but it wasn't
Like straight
fun
up,
gross. Like it was gross.
That was just straight up disgusting. Like you're, oh fuck.
Yeah. Ugh. But I'm also going to go with the whole concept of grinding up cows to feed to other cows to turn into
That
our
was
food.
very-
That's just just randomly.
It's
like,
a little too close to the truth.
There was a lot for this episode because that was definitely distrsturbing. Also, them staring at Bart's ass was very.
Again, the felonies are plentiful in this one.
And I will add
Felonies are off limits.
dial F for felony. The one thing I do want to add though that I thought it was cool because it was kind of violent and kind of weird was when Apu ran over the old man and his brain popped out.
Hans Moleman.
Man, and then the glasses landed exactly where it was. I thought that was pretty cool.
That one's up there as well.
I felt that wasn't nearly as bloody or gory as it could have been.
But it was cool.
It was cool. It was a cool I thought it was cool violence.
I've seen.
We all have.
Least favorite segment. I'm going to go with the first one just because that one just felt the most thrown together.
I'm gonna definitely go with the first one. I thought I'm gonna probably universally pick the one that we add the most of our own commentary on because it's starting to show a pattern that the ones that are the least likely for me are always the funniest in this room and not necessarily on the screen. I just thought that it was a very kind of that middle of the road, very forgettable segment.
It will be interesting to see on these remaining 11 episodes just how that theory of yours holds up.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious.
David, Zach, worst or least favorite?
My least favorite definitely was number one. I was into it, but I was into more of our commentary than anything.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It was just okay.
Yeah,
it was
okay.
average.
Didn't say it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a big fan.
And Zach, you sound like you're contemplating.
Yeah, like he's actually I'm digging that he's actually struggling with this.
Again, this whole thing was a flatline. Like there was no episode that was like terrible, like a bunch of the previous episodes, but there was nothing that. Okay, I'm actually gonna say the first one was a standout because of the amount of fucking felonies. It's just like Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
But fuck it too, I guess. Just sure too. I that's the one I'm gonna go with.
For least favorite?
It's basic.
Okay.
It's just zombies. Like I haven't seen a billion other zombie things before.
Okay.
Actually, this is what 2009. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
this
when
would've been-
zombies was overdone to the 100th fucking
This
degree.
was zombie. This is Zombieland days, man.
Dude, this was
Yeah,
in like
2009.
Like let's see.
Still before Walking Dead, because Walking Dead
yeah.
premiered in 2010.
You said this was 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call
So
of Duty
it was-
World at War, Nazi zombies. Yep, this was when zombies just became
Zombieland,
the whole
too.
fucking
Zombieland.
rage.
So it was written in 2008. So yeah, there's a shit ton of zombie stuff going
Yeah,
on.
where Zombieland was 09, so it came out the year of Zombieland. But
What about Dawn of the Dead? Was that 06 or was that
the Zack Snyder remake, that was
Yeah.
04.
04?
Was it?
Yeah.
And then
Wow,
and
and
then
28
and
days
then-
later was 02.
And then, but 28 weeks later though was
07.
Was 07. Yeah, this was right around that.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense that they would
Yeah.
do that.
But it's still, even at that time, zombies weren't as overdone. Like it wasn't until Call of Duty, added the Nazi zombies thing that
zombies.
zombies just went fucking insane.
What year was
And-
Nazi Zombies?
Oh, let's see. I started high school. So.
2010.
2009.
Yeah,
Because that's when World at
2009.
War would have came out.
And then also Walking Dead had just
No,
or-
Walking
no,
Dead
Walking
was
Dead
the
was a
year
year
after.
later.
It was a year later,
Yeah.
and that's when it really exploded.
Yeah.
The it really
Maybe for
exploded
like
in mainstream.
movies and stuff, but in games, once Call of Duty Nazi Zombies launched, it's just you couldn't look in a single area. Zombies were just fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
But he's not bitter.
Favorite segment?
I gotta go with 3, man. For me, that's just a personal. That's a personal thing, though.
I'm going to agree as well. That one was really creative. The first one was also creative, but like I said, it just kind of felt stitched
Flat.
together. Second one I thought was enjoyable, but I didn't really care for the ending. And it is, like Zach said, just another zombie story at the core of it. I thought for like a little 7-minute Simpsons segment, it was very good zombie fare. But this third one was just something so unique from everything else we've seen in other Treehouse of Horrors, and it was entertaining, and it was cool, and it was nice how they put together all those little gags of those little snafus that do happen behind the scenes of actual stage musicals.
Yeah.
I want to go with the third one too. just because, personal reasons. I enjoy musicals. I enjoy, theater. I agree. Like the first one just was basic. It wasn't terrible. The second one was just really, really funny with some good animation. And then the ending too was a little flat, but we added that gross part with Bart bathing in their food.
Ugh.
So
Yeah, that was bad. And yeah, 3's definitely gonna be my
Solid.
favorite. It's gonna be solid. And then also, obviously, it's coming from the theater background and knowing that world very well, they got a lot of things right. Like a lot of things right. I can't think of a single thing that they blatantly got wrong. I can't think of a single thing. A lot of this is of course over exaggerated, and there's a lot of crazy shit going on.
Theater is over exaggerated.
Oh, 100%. But the musical parodies that they did, like the stuff on Sweeney Todd and the stuff on Phantom, and like all the backgrounds of getting.
And I did like that it wasn't like a beat for beat Sweeney Todd.
No,
it wasn't like
no.
Moe is murdering people to put in his beer. It was very subtle references. So it was like they took the inspiration from Sweeney Todd, but they didn't go King Homer syndrome.
They didn't
where
go
they
like
were
their
a slave
first several
to
episodes
the story.
of Treehouse, where they just took like a famous movie and it's just like, let's just remake the movie, put it 5 minutes long, and add a stupid Simpsons spoof to it.
So you literally had, and by the way, I just thought about it too. It's Sweeney Todd, Phantom of the Opera, Noises Off, and literally the song, "Keep It Light, Keep It Gay" from the producers.
Yeah,
like literally that's
so it had all those inspirations, but it was still its own thing.
Correct.
Wait. That's an actual song?
That is an actual song, and it's fucking hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Dude,
what play is that in?
The Producers, if you've not seen The Producers, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with yourself.
I've only ever seen the original Mel Brooks movie.
See the Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane one. Will Ferrell plays a Nazi playwright.
Really?
It is amazing.
The Nazi playwright is from the original movie.
Correct.
I would say see the original first, because that is probably one of the greatest comedies ever put to screen.
Oh, 100%. And that one's Gene Wilder and
Zero
Gene
Mostel.
Wilder.
And
You have Kenneth Mars as the Nazi playwright.
You literally cannot, the just real quick. The whole story is about two producers that get together. One of them is an accountant, hilariously enough, and they figured out that they can make more money with a flop than they can with an actual hit. So their plan is to make the worst possible play that they can make. They hire the worst actors, worst director. They find the worst script, and literally the script is called "Springtime for Hitler," and it's all about how Hitler is amazing. And they hire like the worst directors that they could possibly can. But then the hilarious part is it turns out to be a hit. It's amazing. Like literally amazing. And it has and obviously the original movie was done by Mel Brooks.
Yep.
It has Mel Brooks isms all over it.
That was his first movie, and he won an Oscar for writing it.
That was his first movie?
Yep.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, but again though, if you and then actually Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane did the original Broadway production of it, and they did the movie together. So they're both tremendous. I recommend seeing both the movies. They're both great on their own.
Zach, favorite segment? You're the last one.
I guess part one, just because I got reactions out of it.
Okay.
I mean, the third one was just,
You don't know that world.
I do kind of know that world. I have done plays before, nothing like gargantuan or anything like that, but I do kind of understand it.
But you were also a little kid when you did it,
Yeah, I was like 8, and I think the latest I was 12.
All right, so
Yeah, so
you basically ended when I started.
yeah.
I started a little bit
Because
below.
after that's when I actually started. I finally got a camera and I started doing film. So that's when I kind of got into that world. But just a little kid. But I mean, the big thing is, I got reactions out of part one.
All right.
Stuff I could laugh at and make jokes about, and then just be like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?"
Dial F for felony.
Yep.
Oh shit.
All right. So thank you all for listening to today's episode about Treehouse of Horror 20. Be sure to listen to our normal podcast, the Nightmares Podcast, wherever podcasts are available. You can also check us out on all of our social media at Midwest Horror Network on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and
Slasher.
And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, we would really appreciate you to smash that like button and stab that subscribe. And then also click that little dingy bell to be notified every time we drop content here on the Midwest Horror Network. And also, if you're listening to this on Spotify or any other streaming service, you can go ahead and press that follow button so you can also be reminded about any time we drop any of the Nightmares podcasts or any other audio version of our podcast. Thank you very much, and we will see you tomorrow.
Happy October 20th.